Hey guys, SimIsDim here. Welcome back to a different multi-part series where I show you how to create great looking Airsoft gameplay and Scopecam videos, like the ones in the background. This video is going to focus on the basics. Now when I say the basics, I mean the fundamentals of an Airsoft Scopecam and an Airsoft gameplay video, such as personalizing it, making it your own touch, making it a little bit different to everyone else's. Just a side note, this tutorial is going to be for Adobe Premiere because that's the software I use, so it's going to be based around that. So if you're using anything different, it might be a little bit of a different process for you. And right now we're just going to cut to some video of how to start editing your Airsoft gameplay in Scopecam. Okay, so what we have here is, this is Premiere here, and the way I like to organize things, I make sure I have an Airsoft folder and then I have a different folder for each site I go to, and I put the rough date. So, but I digress. So here's the actual footage that I'm going to be using. So it's this one here. So as you can see, it's just got quite a bit of gameplay in it. But what we're going to do, we're going to start off with this. So what you want to do, if you have any intros or anything, make sure you have a file where you keep all of them. So my intro is here, so I would go new intro. I have two. I have one for my gaming channel, and then I have one for my non-gaming channel. So then you would put your intro in here, and then you would go back to the footage. In this case it's this one here. You would drag it on here, and then you would want to start cutting and start editing. So in this case the game starts around about here. So what you want to do is you want to cut away the stuff you don't need. If you want to make like a short gameplay video, what I normally do, I will right click on here, go to apply default transitions, which adds in a fade. So I'll show you what that fade does here, and it gives you that fade as well, which just makes it a little bit better. So what you want to do, once you've established your intro and the start of your footage where you want to actually start cutting from, what I do is I make sure that I have some decent filler footage, and here you can see the game started. So what I'll do is I like to do a little enemy killed logo. I take a lot of influence from the Battlefield games and other YouTubers, just to make my videos that a little bit more interesting. So what I do, I have overlays. So I would then go into my overlays folder where I keep all my overlays. In this case it's enemy killed 100, like Battlefield 4. And then what I'll do, at the point I know that I've got a kill, I will drag it onto the timeline at that point. If you click effect controls, click motion, you're able to drag it around. So then I always put it at the bottom, make it a little bit smaller. So hold shift when you click on the sides, otherwise it just makes it go a bit weird. So then I'll have it to the size I want, drag it down to the bottom, and then what I like to do, if you right click, you go to speed duration, change the duration. I change it to about 2.5 minutes, 2.5 seconds, and then it shortens it down. So this is it. What it is a base effect. However, what I like to do to make it a little bit more, look at a little bit more professional, if you go into effects, if you click on video transactions, click on slide, I use center split at the start, and then I use band slide at the end. So then it will look a little bit like this. So it gives you a little bit of an effect on it, makes it look a bit more professional. Now what I also like to do is I like to have a little overlay in the corner, and in my Airsoft overlays section where it shows the gun I'm using. So I have a whole bunch of overlays, as you can see here. So in this case I'll type M4. This is my newest one that I've used. Now you can make these on Photoshop. It doesn't look like a HD texture here, it's only because it's blown it up on the review video. But what you want to do is when you create it, you want to make sure it's a PNG file, and then so in this case I would put it at the start of the video here, drag it across to my timeline, extend it across, because in this case this footage is just me using the M4. So then what I would do is I would also do Also do a fade here as well, so it fades in with the footage. Now as you can see, it's in the middle currently, so again you would click Effect Controls, click Motion. In this case I like to put it in this corner here, and then it just means now it's there. I can click play and it will show you the footage, and then it shows you the gun I'm using, and then it has the enemy killed, the little action there as well. And what I like to do if I get multiple kills as well, so here I actually got about 3 to 4, just move this up a couple of layers. Now if you want something to go on top of your footage, always make sure it goes on the layer above it. So what I'll do is I will copy this one. I know I got a second kill at this point in time, so what I'll do is make sure you click on the layer and only the layer you want to paste on, otherwise it will paste on all the layers and that can create problems. So I'd click this here, but as you can see now both of them are overlaid to each other. So what I'll do is again I'll click motion, but in this case you can actually play around with it here. So as you can see, you can drag it up or down. In this case I'll need to drag it up, so I'll drag it up here. And now if I go back to this point in time and click play, you'll see that it's appeared in 2 different locations, one below and one above. And if you do it the way I showed you this way, it means that it won't, if you notice, they're both directly above each other. There's no leeway, so it looks nice and flush as well. So that is a little basic tutorial on how to kind of cut a very basic airsoft video. So if you don't have a Scopecam, for example, and you just have the GoPro, or you have a Mobius or anything strapped to your head, so if you only have a head cam, this is just a good way to do it. There is one final thing you can do. So what I've done on a couple of my videos when I don't have my Scopecam, there was one recently at Excite Lane End where I didn't have the Scopecam on, so what I did instead, I did this. So if you go to where you're just about to shoot, so in this case if you click here you can select 1 frame at a time. So I know I start shooting here. What I'll do, click on this layer here, and you can use the cut tool. So what I'll do is I'll use the cut tool here. Make sure you go back and select the selection tool, and then what you can do, click motion. If you click position and scale, it gives you a keyframe. And then what I like to do is I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames ahead. And you can also, if you drag this down, you can actually make the timeline closer in. So if you see it's like gone 5-second intervals, you can actually make that go to even closer, so you can go milliseconds, which is really good. So on here, what you want to do, if now I've gone 10 frames forward, click here and here again, and then now you can play with your scale. So I'll do 200, and then if I click position, you can drag your footage across here like so, and then what we'll do, if we now click play, it will zoom in. And then when you want to finish that, what you'll do as well, make sure this is still selected. What you want to do is you want to click keyframes again, and then leave it at that selection, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Click that again, and then you revert back to the scale it was. Now I'm going to have to quickly put the default in, which is like this, which is always going to be 960 by 540. If you click that, and then what I'll do is I'll then cut this so it's one separate chunk of footage. So now if we go back to the start and we click play, it should zoom in, and then it will start to zoom out again like that. Now that's really basically how you make a very simple airsoft video. Now if you can see, I've given it a little bit of context as well. You don't have to do enemy killed like I do, it's just something that I like to do. You can do little hit markers, say like how how people like Novrich and Jet Desert Fox do. I know they are some of the people that started to do that. That's also a good effect as well. Or you can even make your own, but I like the Enemy Kill 100, which I made just because, like I said earlier, I'm a very big Battlefield fan and I took inspiration from that. That's a very, very basic kind of quick tutorial on how to make a very simple airsoft video. And this is going to end this part, guys. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I know I've got one of those kind of somber British accents which might bore some people, but I just wanted to bring you some content to show you how I create airsoft videos. And in the next video I'm going to show you how to actually add a Scopecam onto it. We'll use the same footage as well, because I actually do have a Scopecam bit of footage for this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to have your feedback, what I could do better, what you liked about the video as well. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, it helps me out a lot. And hit that like button, and don't forget the bell icon. And click the videos coming up in a second.